Hello, everyone. I'm Jon Evans, and welcome to another episode of One on One. My guest for this week's podcast episode is Elaine Hendrix. She may best be known as the unforgettable Meredith Blake in the movie Parent Trap. But you've seen Elaine Hendrix in many TV shows and movies since then. 90210, Joan of Arcadia, Dynasty, and of course, Dancing with the Stars. But she's also won awards for her work in animal rescue and advocacy. Her next role, though, will be something special. She'll be the queen of the 2026 North Carolina Azalea Festival, and Elaine Hendrix is taking time and joining us. Elaine, welcome to the One-on-One with Jon Evans podcast.
Thank you, John. I'm happy to be here.
So what are you doing to get ready to be the queen of the Azalea Festival? You're going to be royalty for an entire weekend.
I know. Well, I think I'm going to give myself permission to go beyond the weekend, and I'm going to have like my friends and my family start just calling me the queen. That's all.
You're going to keep the crown on even when you're not here, right?
Yeah. I think I deserve that.
Yeah, I think so too. You were a celebrity here. You came to the festival in 2009. Did you know about it at all? And what was your reaction after you left?
So I came because my friend, the wonderful actress Beth Grant, got me involved. And it was the most wonderfully wild experience I have ever been a part of. So when they asked me to be the queen, I was like, oh yeah, I got to go back for that. Absolutely.
What did you remember the most for that weekend?
I just remember that first of all, I don't think I got any sleep. And we were just constantly on the go. And they had us in these motorcades that were like, it's like zooming down these streets with all the traffic blocked off. And I think that might have been one of the most fun things.
Not having to stop for any traffic lights for the whole weekend, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then I will say, like, for real though, I love connecting with people. And so I'm excited to be there with everyone who loves this festival so much and get to meet new people. And Wilmington, I don't think I've been back since that the last festival. So I'm excited to see how it's changed, and I'm excited to be a part of it.
Oh my goodness, you're not going to recognize downtown Wilmington. It's really changed. They've really done a great job downtown with the River Walk and a new park downtown. You really, really like it. It's changed in the last, 16, 17 years now, but it's all for the better in my mind. I've been here since 1992, and the last 10 years of just growth, especially in downtown and what they've done. You're going to have a blast.
Oh, I can't wait.
But you're busy. It's not like you're just sitting around. You're about ready to go on tour, right? With Dancing with the Stars?
Yes, I'm actually in Chicago at this moment. I got in last night, and I start what is called my put-in this weekend. And then my first show is next week. And I'll be doing the show all for the rest of March and part of April, and then again in May.
Now, you were trained as a dancer early on, but I've heard you say that Dancing with the Stars was a lot tougher than you expected it to be. Was it hard work?
It was extremely hard work. Being in this business, having started my career as a dancer, I know hard work is not unfamiliar to me, right? Like I work my butt off all the time. This was a whole other level, and that took me a little by surprise because as much as I expected it to be hard, it was like even more so. But the thing that I really want to stress with that is how worth it was. It was like the most incredible experience, and I'm so grateful for every single second of it.
You got hurt. And as I remember, fans really kind of got involved with your recovery. Did that really surprise you how invested the fans are in that show and were in your recovery and your situation?
Yes, it was very surprising. And it chokes me up every time I talk about it because it was being on that show was genuinely a second chance at a dream for me, because I had began my career as a dancer. I was hit by a car. I never thought that I would train at that level again. And then I got to, and I'm a woman, a little older now, some years under me, and
little bit
a
older.
little bit,
Yeah.
and I didn't know, and it is a competition, and I was competing against much younger, half my age people with millions and millions of followers online. And so while I had all of it in my heart and I knew what I was capable of, I just didn't know the reaction. And then when I got injured, I was like, oh no, now people they're definitely not now. But then the opposite happened and they did rally around me.
Yeah.
And it
And
was so beautiful and meaningful for me.
did that help? I mean, you hear sometimes of performers and athletes even taking that help that they get from the audience or help that they get from the crowd in the ballpark and really helping them perform better. Did that help you, do you think?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I mean, that it's one of the reasons I do what I do is for that exchange of audience and performer, right? Like I'm giving to them, they're giving to me, and it's reciprocal. And to me, it creates this beautiful energy that the world needs, right?
Yeah.
So the audience did help. I'm going to also say the 16 anesthetic shots I got in my ribs also helped. So it was a combo. It was definitely a combo.
You trained, as we said, as a dancer. You grew up in Tennessee, moved to Atlanta. You actually danced in some music videos early in your career, correct?
I did.
Do you still see those online sometimes?
No, I think someone found a couple of them, but I couldn't even. There's only one with the group Houdini that I can even tell you the name of the song. The others, I'm like, I don't know. I was young. Those were some of my first jobs. I was just so excited. I didn't like fully register everything. So I just remember the artists, but I don't remember the songs.
Wasn't MC Hammer one of the ones
I
you
did
did
it.
as well?
Yeah, I did MC Hammer, and of course he's so known and beloved for Can't Touch This, but it was not that video.
Yeah. But
And I can tell you like elements of it, but I don't know. But MC Hammer, Keith Sweat, Houdini, Cameo, all these like early like rap and hip hop artists, R&B. Yeah.
and that's cool. And I've heard you say, as I was doing some research for our interview today, I heard you say that your mom was really integral in urging you to continue to grow as a performer, as a dancer, and then when the accident happened, as an actor, because she really wanted you to fulfill what she saw in you was a desire to actually give to other people.
Yes. My mom she passed away in 2017. And my mom, let me also note, my mom was my plus one at the Azalea Festival when I first came in 2009.
Oh, that's awesome.
And yeah, and she was very often my plus one because she was so much fun and so full of life. I credit her with so much of what's happened in my life because she really instilled in me this spirit of adventure. And so I went to a performing arts high school that she found for me when we moved to Atlanta, Georgia. And afterwards, when I was debating about, I was really, really into it, the performing, and I was debating about continuing to perform or kind of pausing and going to college. And my mom, who had her master's degree, who worked in higher education for over 30 years, said to me, I don't think you should go to college right now. You can always go to college, but being a dancer, like you need to do that while you're young. So go for it and don't look back.
Wow, what a gift that was.
It really was. And that's not to say like, listen, there's part of me, I've still, to this day, I still study. Like, I love education. I just didn't go to a formal institute. I learned a lot of other ways. And I have mixed feelings about that because I do love learning. So I think I would have done well and would have loved a college experience. But for me, my path is my path, has been my path, and I'd like to think that it's worked out.
Well, with all that desire that you had when you moved out to LA, what do you remember? And I don't know if you're not comfortable talking about it, please let me know. But what do you remember about the bike accident and then about just, oh, what am I going to do now?
Yeah. So what it was, I don't know if because people will say, "Oh, I know, like you got into a car accident." I'm like, "No, no, no. Let me be very clear. I was on a bicycle and was hit by a car, like car on body." And as it was happening, it's one of these moments in your life that everything kind of goes into slow motion.
Hmm.
And I was just like, "This can't be happening. This can't be happening." And then afterwards, I was like, "This can't be happening. This can't be happening." And then the injuries that I sustained every step of the way, and I ended up being in physical therapy about 8 months afterwards.
Wow.
I just kept trying to negotiate that it wasn't happening, and then finally I had to just accept and go, yeah, this happened. I'm really injured. I don't. I'm in pain when I try to go back to dance class, and so that forced, the reinvention and me going towards acting.
And how did you get through it? Was there somebody who, I mean, I imagine mom was there, but that determination to succeed and then showing that it happened with your career is just a phenomenal example of overcoming.
Yeah, it really is. I think I've taken it for granted because I'm just always like, in this business, you're always like the next thing, the next hustle, the next job, the next. So you just keep pushing forward. But especially now in Dancing with the Stars, that was one of the gifts that it gave me was to look back and go, I really have been through some stuff and I really have overcome and like, wow, like that's incredible. And I think that's what ended up resonating with people. And it's given me the opportunity to have a whole new appreciation for all the hard work that I've done and just how resilient I actually have been.
As I looked at your career, after moving to LA in 92, you've had roles every year. As I looked at it from 92, 93, 94, all the way to 2025. That doesn't happen very often in the business that you're in. So does that list look easier than it was? I can't imagine that you just walked into things every year. I imagine the auditions and the tryouts and the working and the learning was a lot harder than that list looks.
Yes, for every, one that's on there, there's going to be a minimum of 50 that didn't happen. And it was tremendously hard work, missing out. Sacrifice is, I think, way too strong of a word because it's Hollywood. Let's calm down. But I've missed birthdays. I've missed weddings. I've missed anniversaries. I've missed a lot of milestones because I had to be in certain places and I was always at the mercy of production. And then, you can, as an artist in this lifestyle, you can't plan for anything. You
No.
can't plan for when you're going to work, and you certainly can't plan for, oh, well, this is the next job I'm going to do, and this is the next thing that's going to happen. So I just have always worked my butt off. I've lost out on a lot of life opportunities, but I've had a lot of creative and career opportunities. And then I look back and I go, I've built an incredible career and I've
Yeah.
had an iconic run of it.
Did you ever come close to packing it in?
Oh yeah, I've quit at least 3 times. Yeah.
What's the longest that you actually gave it some thought?
Months. Yeah, months. And then that's when it's more like, and it's not unlike a relationship. You can like burn out on a relationship, right?
Yeah.
And so I had this relationship with the entertainment industry and what I do. And sometimes it's just like, I need to go and focus on my volunteer work, which is such a huge part of my life. And so I'll just shift my focus until that recharges me or other things recharge me. And listen, the reality is no matter how many times I quit or no matter how many times I take a break or whatever, the reality is I'm a lifer. Like what else am I going to do? I've been doing this like since I came out of the womb. So I'm not actually going anywhere.
It was funny when they announced Elaine Hendrix as the Azalea Queen. I have to tell you, some of the young reporters in the newsroom who weren't even born in 1998 said, "Oh, I remember her. She was in The Parent Trap. She's awesome." Does that amaze you that another generation has discovered that film and discovered you from that film that weren't maybe even thought of when that movie came out in 1998?
Yeah. I mean, I love it so much that there's, as I mentioned just a moment ago, there's like so little that you can plan for in this industry. So I could have never planned to have been a part of this iconic movie that just is so beloved by generation after generation. And, the generation before keeps reintroducing it. So like my mom, who was my date to the premiere, she grew up on the original Parent Trap that came out in 1961.
Yeah.
And so I grew up with that one because she wanted to be Haley Mills she loved that movie so much and she wanted to be Haley Mills when she was younger. So of course, I was familiar with the Parent Trap, and I think that's just what happens. And then Nancy Meyers and the late Charles Shire, they just know how to make movies. So they made a beautiful, wonderful movie that for all its flaws and quirkiness still works and is still beautiful and has these incredible universal messages that just resonate with people. And I'm honored. It's incredible.
How did you get that role? Is that something that you really tried out for? How did that all come about? Was it just another audition?
Yes, it was literally, that was actually a last minute audition.
Wow.
I was called in that morning to go read that afternoon. And so I went and I read for casting. And then the next thing I know, I'm in an office with Nancy and Charles and Lindsay Lohan and Dennis Quaid and my best friend Lisa Ann Walter, who played Chessie. She was in the waiting room too, and we were both doing like a chemistry test. And then the next thing I know, I got it. It was kind of simple, but not. I mean,
Yeah.
it was one of these very meant to be, I think.
And you knew after reading the script that it was something that you wanted to really be a part of?
Oh yeah. I mean, absolutely.
Yeah.
I felt in that moment. And I learned later, I was like, Charles came up to me and was like, you were the 433rd actress we saw. And I was like, no, how would I know that? I didn't know that. And so I was the 433rd actress that they had seen for the role. But when I saw it, I was like, oh, I know exactly what to do with her. I just felt so confident.
That's awesome. You are the first person that I have ever interviewed who's had a character become a Happy Meal toy.
Yeah.
Tell me, you've got to have stories of G2, of people coming up and giving them to. That is so cool to be a part of a Happy Meal toy.
Jon, you know what? It is thank you so much for bringing that up because I always mention that and people don't really seem to be very impressed by it. But I think that's one of the coolest things that could ever come of a career.
Yeah, I mean, think of how many kids wanted to go to McDonald's to get a Happy Meal toy, and they got G2, which was you. I mean, that's just cool beyond cool to me.
Thank you. And I had 4 of them. There was a whole line and we had a party and we went and and then my mom went into all these different McDonald's. I have hundreds that I have saved to be able to use in different ways. And now, the most ironic thing about it is that I'm vegan. So, I would never buy a Happy Meal toy, a Happy Meal again. But I'd go in, I'd be like, can I just pay for the toy? Let me just buy the toy.
Oh, that's awesome.
But I feel like that's a really, really cool thing in my career.
Yeah. Oh, I'm right there with you. And okay, anybody listening to this, if you ever get a Happy Meal G2 toy from Elaine Hendrix, that is special beyond belief.
Yeah. Thank you.
You've done several series. You've done Joan of Arcadia, Sex and Drugs and Rock and Roll, Dynasty. How is that kind of work different than maybe being on a movie or being on a set for a film? Is the series work different?
Yes, because you're playing the same character for a longer period of time. I mean, it depends. Like, I mean, listen, I filmed Dynasty for because of part of the pandemic. I was there 3.5, almost 4 years. My very first series was actually the reboot of Get Smart, and we filmed that in a couple of months. I do films. I love doing independent films, and I've been on some that have only been a couple of weeks, whereas in like The Parent Trap was 6 months. So, every project is largely dictated by budget. And so that will determine how long they are. And usually on series, like let's say Dynasty, when I'm there for years and I'm playing the same character for years, there's moments where it's like, oh, this is fun. And there's moments where it's like, this is just work. Yeah. I'm just showing up to do a job. Yeah. And you gotta, no matter where you are on the spectrum of the time that you're putting into it, it's being recorded for the rest of eternity. So you got to show up and you got to bring your game no matter what.
But I imagine, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's probably, especially in the case of Dynasty, you almost are a family for that period of time, as opposed to several weeks. You probably just really get to know the people that you're with in front of the camera and even behind the camera.
Yes, yes. And I call myself a people collector. And I do not mean that in like a horror film type of way. I mean that in like a sweet, gentle way. Like I love people. So inevitably on films, I'm someone that I may not see you for 20 years, but you're still my friend, and people are like, well, I know you won't remember me, but of course I remember you. What are you talking about? I'm that person.
You're producing an off-Broadway show.
Yes, it ran last summer, and we finished. Yeah, we finished our run. It was a parody of The Parent Trap. Audiences loved it so much. It was called Ginger Twinsies. Yeah, and we have more plans for that coming up.
Has Broadway always been a dream, a desire for you?
Yes, 100%. I've done off-Broadway. I've done a lot of regional. I haven't done local theater except for, maybe some benefits or when I was younger. But I feel like I've done it all. I started my career in theater. And so for me, Broadway is the ultimate. And
before I go any further, if you like independent movie films, Wilmington is a hotbed for independent movies. I don't know if you learned about it a lot when you were here, but we have several organizations here in town who are doing great work with independent films, and I think this is a hotbed for it. I think you really enjoy the conversation with some of the folks that are going to be at the festival.
Well, I look forward to it. I did an indie in Charlotte, but I have not actually filmed in Wilmington. So. Listen, I'm open.
How did you get involved in the animal rescue and animal advocating? You really have taken that on. You've received awards, as I said earlier, for it. That's you're to be saluted for that, because that takes a lot of hard work too.
Oh, thank you. I grew up in a household and a community in a state that prioritized volunteering. I am from Tennessee. We are the volunteer state. Yeah. And my mom, my dad was a serviceman in Vietnam in the Army. So being of service was very critical in my household. And I've just carried that with me. It's something I believe strongly in. I like to say I'm a performer by day and an activist by night. I have 2 careers, and they both hold equal passion for me. And animals, when I sat down, because I really wanted to feel like I was making a measured difference. And so when I sat down to really like think about it, I was like, oh, well, I've always loved animals and I've always loved nature. I've always had animals. And so I sat down and it was like in the early days of like AOL and I dialed up doo doo, got online and then I learned and I was like, for all of my love of animals, I had no idea what was happening to them. Like now, it's, I think, far more common knowledge with the more that the internet is used, information can get shared. But I had no idea what was happening. And I just think that what we do to the most innocent of beings, we will do to the whole. So if we can care for animals, like that just is a ripple effect.
How is success in your 50s compared to success in your 20s? Different, better?
Different. Yeah, different. Equally as fun. I also have a deeper appreciation, a deeper gratitude for it. In my 20s, I think I had success very early on in my 20s, and I was naive enough to expect it because I worked hard. I worked like my whole life. I've always been a hard worker. And so I just thought, oh, I'm going to go do that and I'm going to work hard and it's going to happen. And it did. And I had no idea like what a fluke that was until my 30s. And then like somebody popped my reality bubble. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. And then my 30s were like kind of wah wah. And then my 40s, I was like, I got my mojo back. And now my 50s, like, oh, I'm unstoppable. It's amazing.
Yeah, you are. But I mean, you say that, but really you are. You did the back with Lindsay and the event, what was it, Freaky Friday or something like that?
Yeah.
You did that. You did Dancing with the Stars. So you are really rocking and rolling in your 50s.
Yeah, I am. It's really wonderful.
Is Lisa Ann Walter going to be with you this when you come to Wilmington?
No, she has, we're two ships in the night. The only reason I got to spend so much time with her during Dancing with the Stars was because she was filming in LA and I was filming in LA. Otherwise, we're bebopping all over. So she's working on another project and won't be able to join me. In fact, when I'm done with the festival, I go up and I meet her in New York.
Wow. How did she become your ride or die? I've heard you say that.
Yeah. We met doing the Parent Trap, and it's just, like I said, I'm a people collector, and Lisa and I just particularly stuck together. And then the more that we go along, and we've helped each other and loved each other and supported each other through so many life events, and like from the smallest of, just day-to-day minutia stuff to the big life-changing life events, So we are like non-romantic partners, which she likes to say, which basically makes us a long-time married couple.
Well, to see her success on Abbott is just fantastic as well.
Yeah, she's really crushing it, which I love to see.
Where would Meredith Blake be in 2026?
I think Meredith Blake is still doing what she's doing, just like at the highest level. Like Meredith was never going to be stopped. She knew what she wanted, and it wasn't Nick Parker by the end, but she got her version of Nick Parker. She got Meredith is going to get what she wants. She is just fine.
Elaine Hendrix, Wilmington is ready to welcome you as queen for the 2026 North Carolina Azalea Festival. I know you're slam busy. I appreciate you taking the time and joining us for the One-on-One with Jon Evans podcast. Can't wait to meet you in person when you're here in Wilmington for the festival.
Likewise, John. I'm collecting you now, too.
A big thank you to Elaine Hendrix for taking time from her busy schedule to join us for this week's podcast interview. If you want to stay up with everything on her schedule, just go to her website. It's ElaineHendrix.com. And if you'd like to follow her on social media, she's really active on Facebook and Instagram. You can find her at Elaine, 4 Animals. Elaine 4 Animals on both Facebook and on Instagram. And of course, she'll be here in Wilmington for the 2026 North Carolina Azalea Festival. You can check out all of those events. They begin next Wednesday, April the 8th. Now, before we go, I'd like to ask you a favor. Please follow or subscribe to the One-on-One with Jon Evans podcast on whatever app you use to listen to your favorite shows. And if you'd like to see a video version of my podcast interview with Elaine Hendrix, just head on over to my YouTube channel. It's Jon Evans TV. I'm Jon Evans. We appreciate you joining us for this episode of One-on-One.